How's it going, everybody? A short video today talking about my experience at Randy's Road Trip, series that the commissioner of the CFL, Randy Ambrosie, puts on every year, stops at every CFL location, and basically just gives a state of the league kind of discussion. Some people can submit questions. I submitted a question through the Tiger Cats All Access app, and I thought it was a pretty cool event to attend. First time I ever got to attend anything like that, really. So, I just wanted to go over my experience at that today and, just some overall takeaways I had from what the commissioner had to say. So first of all, I wanted to talk about just the general experience and how it works. So we went to Tim Hortons Field. It was hosted there at the Hall of Fame level of that stadium, at the club section of the stadium. It was just a really cool setup, basically what you would have if you're on the club level at Tim Hortons Field. It's really cool. If you've never been in it, I totally recommend going to the CFL Hall of Fame, seeing all the busts and whatnot. And a guy I used to work with is actually in the Hall of Fame as well. So it's pretty interesting to see all the faces and, all the legends of the past and all the history associated with it. And Tim Hortons Field, just a really great venue in my opinion. And they did a really great job of hosting that last night, and everything was just so open concept. There was no assigned seating and whatnot, and it was just like pick a table, and the commissioner just started talking at because the doors open at 6, and then at 6:30 the commissioner started to talk, and it was just an hour-long discussion that he had. And Louis B, who is the Tiger Cats social media host, basically, he does all of their the kind of YouTube content and everything like that associated with that, with the Tiger Cats. He was the one asking them the questions. And then after the commissioner's main address was done, we basically got to intermingle. I actually got to talk to Randy firsthand, shake his hand, and my brother and I, we actually asked about what more the CFL can do in terms of improving the relationships with youth sports and kind of cross promotion kind of thing. And we brought up the whole Alberta Golden Bears and the Elks and what they're doing there with that doubleheader this year. And he said he's a big youth sports fan himself, but when he goes to games, like, there's barely anybody in the stands, and he says that is a major issue that they need to work around, and but that he loves youth sports football at the end of the day. But yeah, regardless of whether or not he gave me a clear answer or not, it was actually just so cool to meet the commissioner of the CFL. He's actually a huge guy, former offensive lineman. His hands, I could barely fit my hand around for the handshake. It was crazy. But Randy, I think, honestly, he gets a lot of flack, but I think he's actually a really down-to-earth kind of guy. And I think commissioners get a lot of hate in sports unjustly, just because they're basically doing the owner's dirty work at the end of the day. But after that, we actually were able to meet Braylon Addison, who was at the event. He gave away a couple signed jerseys. Braylon Addison is a guy I actually have the jersey of. And I bought this, if people have watched this channel, I bought a jersey back in December because I didn't realize there was only a few guys that were under contract for next year already at that point. And I decided to get Braylon Addison's jersey, who I thought is one of my favorite players on the team. But then he actually this offseason announced that he was switching to number 0. So, just my luck here. But when I met him, I actually totally forgot to bring that up. I thought it would probably be a good icebreaker after the fact, but I just didn't remember it at the time to bring it up. And just a really cool guy. He's about the same height as me, so it's just crazy. It's just wild. It really shows you how athletic those guys are if they're the same height as me. I'm not even that tall. I'm like 5'9", but it's crazy, like, to meet players up in person like that. Just a normal everyday dude, and that's the great thing about the CFL and all the community aspect of it, and being able to meet the commissioner and a lot of these star players firsthand is just something you'll never experience in the National Football League, right? So I think this is just an incredible event, and I really had a great time attending it. In terms of what the commissioner had to say, he stuck to a lot of the classic talking points, but there are a few interesting things that I took away from it. When I asked about the global strategy, and basically what I specifically asked was, in the future, are there going to be allocated starting spots for global players? Because, I'm not super gung-ho on the global strategy one way or the other, but I think in order for it to work, it has to have visible stars, and you have to see guys that are actually making major contributions to the team on the field to actually attract a global audience. And right now, the CFL doesn't make any teams start any global players. Some teams have started the occasional global player in the past couple of years, but we'll see if that becomes more widespread even without a ratio. But Ambrosie said that right now that the global talent has improved pretty drastically the last couple of years from 2019. In 2021, they really had a major spike in terms of the contribution. A lot of kickers and punters mostly, but at the same time, I don't think that's necessarily going to move the needle from that perspective. So I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the whole global situation going forward. But it was interesting to hear him talk about how he thinks that the global talent is just going to continue to improve, and that he didn't say that they're at the point that they're going to be adding some kind of starter quota. He also reiterated his point the other day when he said that you can't get to 12 teams unless you get to 10, which is probably the most obvious statement ever. But he is saying that the Atlantic Schooners are going to be playing probably in the next few years, and going to be really interested to see if that actually comes to fruition. I'm very skeptical still, and without any kind of a major stadium deal, I really don't see that happening. But with the commissioner's optimism, Randy's a very optimistic guy, so I appreciate that. But not too much was said on expansion during the discussion with the commissioner last night. But there's also the thing that got brought up was the nicknames on the jerseys. So some teams have allowed players to have their own customized nickname on the back of the jersey, but Randy actually 100% shot this down and said, we won't be seeing this in the CFL anytime soon. So, you can put that idea to bed, at least for the foreseeable future under Ambrosie. And, I think the biggest thing that I took away from the whole thing, and a lot of this questions revolved around the whole idea of CFL rule changes and what they've been looking at this offseason. Everybody wants to point to the 3 versus 4 down thing, but what Ambrosie did, what he said was, what they really wanted to maximize was the field dimensions that we have on the field, and they wanted to find ways to maximize that all of that space is being or having to be covered by the defense. And that's why he said the hash mark idea really got a lot of traction in the league. So it's really interesting to see that kind of insight from Ambrosie. I really didn't really hear that before, that was really the main focus in making the field the main thing that they really want to maximize. I really liked that from Ambrosie, and like I said, I think he actually is a very nice guy. When I talked to him, just a very upfront guy, and he talked to us for a good 10 minutes. It was pretty great. So I really was impressed by the event that the CFL put on last night and the Tiger Cats put on last night. And, I'd wholly recommend, if you ever get the chance to go as a season ticket holder of another team or of the Tiger Cats, I wholly recommend going. But with that said, that is going to be the end of today's video, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Once again, my name is Jason. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is by hitting the like button and subscribing to Dusty's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. I greatly appreciate it, everybody. And with that said, hope you guys have a great day, have a great Easter, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.